In this video, you will learn how to solve problems involving cost, income, and value. So to solve these kind of problems, you need to know a couple formulas. So the first formula is for cost. So the formula for cost is the number of items times the price per item. So for example, if you bought 8 shirts and each shirt is $10, the cost would be 8 times 10, or $80. The 8 is the number of items, and the 10 would be the price per item. And you multiply together to get the cost. Next we have income. Income is equal to the hours worked times the wage per hour. So for example, if you are working, let's say 40 hours in a week, and you are making $8 per hour, then your income would be 40 times 8, which would equal $320. So the 40 is the hours worked, and the 8 is the wage per hour. You multiply to get the income. The third formula is for total value. So this is kind of the same as the cost formula. You have your number of items times your value per item. So let's say you have a warehouse, and in the warehouse you have shoes, and you want to know how much your shoes are worth. Well, you take the number of shoes times that by the value per shoe. So if you had 100 shoes and each one sold for $50, the value would be 100 times 50. The number of items is 100, and 50 is the value per item. And you multiply to get the total value. So here's an example where you need to use one of these formulas to set up an equation in order to solve a problem. So the example shown here, you are dealing with movie tickets. And in this example, movie tickets cost $15 for adults and $10 for children. A total of 300 tickets worth $3,800 were sold. How many child tickets were sold? So when you're thinking through this, there's different parts to account for. And one of those things to account for is that the total value is $3,800. All right, that's the total amount that was sold. Now that total amount is made up of adult tickets, and it's made up of child tickets. And if you add the child tickets and adult tickets together, that totals to be $3,800. So I need to account for that somehow. The child ticket costs plus the adult ticket costs. Okay, so we can use our cost formula to figure out what goes in here for the child ticket costs and for the adult ticket costs. So we stated in the previous slide that cost equals the number of items times the value, or the price for each one. So if you're looking at the child tickets, all right, so the child tickets, that cost equals the number times the value. Well, so the cost for each one is $10 for children, right? So it's going to be something times 10. And the number is what we're trying to find. So how many child tickets were sold, that's your unknown. So we can let X be the number of child tickets. All right, so this is going to be X. So we have $10 times X, which is times the number of child tickets sold. So we have X times 10, or 10X, same thing. All right, so we can put that in here for the child ticket cost. Is $10 times X times the number of child tickets. And then we have the adult ticket cost. So the adult cost is the same idea, where here the value is $15. So it's some number times 15. So the question is, what number goes here? Well, we know that a total of 300 tickets were sold. So the total is 300. And then the child tickets, we don't know how many that is. But let's say we sold 100 child tickets. Then the adult number is 300 minus 100, which would be 200 adult tickets. So we don't know what that number is, but whatever that child ticket number is, we have to subtract that from 300 to get the number of adult tickets. So if x is 100, then the adult tickets would be 200, 300 minus 100. So right here, the number, for the formula, the number times value, the number is going to be 300 minus x. So we have 300 minus x times 15 for the adult cost. All right, so that's what I can put in here. 300 minus x times 15, and it's helpful probably to put the 15 first. 15 times 300 minus x. That's the same thing. All right, and that total equals 3,800. So my equation will be right here. 10x plus 15 times 300 minus x equals 3,800. So once you have the equation, from here you can solve. So we can distribute the 15, take 15 times 300, and 15 times negative x. 15 times 300 would be 4,500, and 15 times a negative x would be a negative 15x. And then from here, I can simplify this left side. We have 10x and negative 15x. Those are like terms, and we can combine. So we take 10 minus 15 to get negative 5, and then x goes with it. And now that we've simplified the left side, we can solve by doing reverse order of operations. So reverse order of operations, we begin with addition and subtraction first, then go from there. So we see here negative 5 is being multiplied by x, and then 4,500 is being added. So the addition we take care of first, and we do that by subtracting. So we subtract 4,500 from both sides, which is what we have here and here. When I subtract 4,500 on the left side, the 4,500s will cancel. And on the right side, and this should be an equal sign, on the right side we have 3,800 minus 4,500, which would be negative 700. So we have negative 5x equals negative 700. And then here the negative 5 is being multiplied with the x, so I divide both sides by negative 5. When I do that, the negative 5s will cancel, and I have x on the left, and on the right, negative divided by negative would become a positive. Then 700 divided by 5 would be 140. So my solution is x equals 140. And now I should point out that it might be helpful when you begin to set this problem up. It could be helpful for you if you put everything in a table. So you don't have to do that, but it could be helpful to organize your thoughts. So here is a table. So looking back at the beginning of this setup, here's a table that could be helpful for you, where you have the two types of tickets, child and adult, right here, and then your formula is up here on the top. The number times price per ticket equals your cost. So the price per ticket we fill in 10 and 15 for child and adult. The number, same as we had earlier, the child would be your unknown, and then the adult number, we take 300 minus the child's number, and we discussed that earlier. And then we know that we multiply the number times the price to get the cost. So this last column would be your total. That's your total cost. And so we multiply x times 10 to get 10 times x, same thing, and then 300 minus x times 15 to get this over here. And from at this point, we can set up our equation, and we did that over here. All right, we know that the child cost plus the adult cost equals 3,800 total, so we plug in the numbers from this last column over here, plug that into the equation to solve. So that could be helpful for you as you think through the setup of these different problems. And so each one's going to look a little different, but the formula can go on the top like this, and then whatever other information we have can go on the side, and then you can start filling in things like we did here. All right, so your final answer, after all that said and done, is your child ticket is 140, and if you wanted, you could find the adult ticket. The number of adult tickets, you take 300 minus 140 for a total of 160. So together, that total number of tickets sold is 140 plus 160, which would equal that 300.